My
right,
question.
no problem. We're live.
This is a weekly fight.
Go ahead. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, let's start with Palantir. Let's go.
We've been discussing Palantir for a minute, and the
Look, so here's
question
my thesis.
to ask about Palantir is why haven't they fired Karp? Because at a certain point, a company is big enough. Okay,
it's almost
they're big enough.
How wrong
they're expanding out enough that you don't have the same guy lead it who spent 20 years not making money.
Look,
Get the guy who can make money for the next 20 years. It's simple. If Badri, by the way, the same thing happened with Enphase. Enphase was losing money for a decade until TJ Rogers came in and put in Badri. That's when he went in 2017 in order to make a profitable company. Before that, the guy before couldn't do it. He had a great product and a terrible execution. I think we have the same thing with Palantir. Possibly a great product. Yeah. And terrible execution.
Karp is the guy that was running Apple before Steve Jobs came back in.
No,
they need to get
Stanley Druckenmiller, their largest investor, compared him to Steve Jobs. Now, I don't think any of us have been as successful as Stanley Druckenmiller, but for you guys to be like Karp's the guy before Jobs, and then their oldest hold on, Chris, their oldest investor says Karp is Jobs. Look, I don't want to defend Palantir like crazy. My point is, Chris gets it, and we just had a phenomenal podcast on Friday explaining why it's transformational. He just doesn't believe in leadership. You guys, I genuinely think, don't understand it, and you don't believe in leadership, which is the problem.
So, Amit, what did Stanley Druckenmiller do in Q3 of 2022?
I know he thinks a depression, but that doesn't mean sell Palantir.
What did he do? What did he do?
He says a depression is coming, right?
No, not that. What did he do with Palantir? He sold a shit ton of Palantir.
He also owns a shit ton of Palantir, Chris. He's been in the stock since 2000.
Yeah, so why isn't he adding? Why is he reducing then?
How much insider?
Because he thinks the whole economy is falling apart. That's not a good argument.
Well, one at a time. Let's keep this at least
Druckenmiller is being Michael Burry, which we get, and he's making his decisions, and he's selling off everything. He's not, consolidating. But my point to Carlos and V is just like the bull case for Palantir is so strong. Karp is the reason they are even at the level where they are at. The deals that he's been able to personally get done, it matters. You guys haven't seen a profitable company because things have been bad for the past 2 years in the macro.
No, it hasn't been profitable for 20 years. Hold on.
And in three, I'm looking right now, 3 years, I've seen almost no insider buying. They're in the middle of a war. And if they're helping the United States and Ukraine,
what's the insider selling? Where's the insider selling? Where's the insider selling?
No, I'm saying no insider buying. I'm looking right now on
insider selling. So
no, there's a ton of insider selling.
Only
those are like 30,000-40,000 shares. Those are not.
Okay.
First of all, don't talk about insider selling because Enphase, that's a whole different discussion. Like we don't.
Yeah, but Enphase ran up to 300 and Enphase ran up to $300 and something a share.
They're not selling at the lows, buddy.
Options are like 0.1 cents for most of those executives. So
still,
look, the main question is really after 20 years, if you're not profitable, you don't have a good business.
No, you were subsidized by the CEA for 10 years before you even came.
Wait,
the CIA, the venture capital firm.
CIA.
CAI.
You're thinking about In-Q-Tel. In-Q-Tel is the venture arm of the CIA, which gave them their initial round of funding. Okay. So yes, the CIA was involved initially. I am going to say this one more time. The same people who find good companies don't necessarily make the best when it comes to selling the product. You may have a good idea.
No, but Chris, we get it. I'm on board with you with that. V and Carlos actually don't understand the thesis. Just like you and me don't really get Enphase like V and Carlos do. They don't get Palantir. So
I get Enphase. I get Enphase. My problem.
I don't know if I don't think they get. I don't think.
No. I'll tell you. This is where I have come to the conclusion with Enphase. Okay. It is a company that's built on technology that they saw was going to the future very early, but they didn't have a CEO that was good enough to sell the product on wholesale. Badri was able to do that. Now, he took it to the next level, and their growth has been phenomenal, and that's why the stock price shot up so much. My thing with Enphase is how much of that market is really there. My thesis isn't on Enphase being a good company. My problem is, do I see that solar is going to be like as big as Carlos and Vitaly see it? That's our main disagreement. I think Enphase is a very well-run company with amazing technology, and they have a technology lead compared to all of their competitors who are trying to do the same thing because they actually do have an ecosystem.
So I don't want to switch topics.
The TAM for me.
I don't want to switch topics. We could talk about Enphase another time. And Enphase is profitable. That's the main thing. Go back to Karp, 20 years of an unprofitable company. That's really the issue, that if you're going to invest in a company, like You could go
Can I
back
say
to.
one thing? Can I say one thing before you continue?
Hold
One
on,
thing.
no, I didn't
No,
finish.
no, because this 20 years argument is so fucking horrible. It's so bad, and here's why.
Okay.
For 10 years, they're trying to figure out how to build a product to actually work with the government. And this is why I'm saying you guys.
Okay,
don't
so
get
for
content.
10 years
Hold on.
they're unprofitable, guys.
No, but B, don't minimalize the gravity of this.
Minimalize.
Their product is so difficult to execute, which is why they have. I agree with you, Chris. They're not good at selling, but they have very rare competitors that are doing, like, zero competitors really that are doing what they are doing because they spent so long to make it. If it takes that much time to build a product, I am okay with that. You are going to be unprofitable during a time. What I am not okay with is them not being able to learn how to sell that product after 15 years of making it. But my thesis is the product is that good. It took that long to make, and there's case study after case study that says that's the case. Now it's, can they sell? You don't think the product is that good. You just think it's unprofitable.
No. I'm saying the product is good. I believe actually the product is good.
You don't know what the product is. You don't know what the product is.
It's a
You don't know
database.
it.
Let's fucking face it. But
See, this, okay,
It's
so
no,
we can
really.
move on.
It's
We can
an
move on.
AI powered assisted,
It's a smart
assisted
database,
decision
okay?
making
You just said
engine.
17 buzzwords that a VC would tell you to get the fuck out of their office if you said that was your startup. An AI powered database.
Hey,
No,
yo,
that's
we
not
trying
what
to
it is.
stay
That's
monetized, bro.
essentially what they
Oh,
are.
yeah.
I mean,
No-
tell me that
no
they're not that.
efforts. No
You think
efforts.
it's an AI powered database? That's what you think.
Hold on, it doesn't matter for a second. Just you have to look at everything else besides. I get your product. Let's agree with you. The product is great. Let's look at number one. And I've said this on Twitter and other videos. We have a Palantir hate video coming out for anybody who wants to watch our channel. Freelancer Finance, check it out because it's going to be a great Palantir video for those who hate Palantir.
And we look forward to a mixed response video.
Okay, but number one, you have to be profitable in a certain amount of time. 20 years is a long time to not be profitable. And even if you're trying to build up a startup. Number two, all of the dilution that keeps happening. And in fact, I agree. This is something that Joseph Carlson brought up in his videos. And I actually like his videos on this, that a lot of these growth companies end up diluting the hell out of us completely. And they keep doing it for long periods. Even Google is doing it right now. At some point, you have to stop doing that. And you have to become profitable and stop diluting shareholders that own the company, right? It has to be for us. At some point, it has to be for us. And the third thing is Palantir's CEO, Karp, he has a real problem with communication, okay? He might have been. Yes, he does. He might have been the guy. Yes, he does. He might have been the guy that can get us there, meaning to the market, to go public. He might have been that guy. He got us there. The 20 years he spent building the product. There could be another guy who can actually execute that vision better.
But
It's
he could also be the guy that's good behind the scenes negotiating the deals, but he doesn't have to be the forward facing guy that speaks to, say, the retail investors if they're expecting that.
You want, like, who do you want in these live conferences? Like, who do you want talking if you don't like Karp talking? What type of guy?
Someone who can speak to someone who can speak clearly and not use poems and poetry and
that's not a bear case.
That's
such a bad argument for leadership.
No.
Because a leader.
Hold on. So Elon tweeting fake links that Pelosi's husband was actually having sex with another man. That's fine leadership.
No. What I'm saying is
that's no problem because the stock is up, right? So that's
we need Karp to do that.
I mean, it might actually
like, that's right, guys. You cannot be. You guys can be like leadership is bad.
No. You're trying to twist our words.
Okay,
hold on. Stop. Give me a second. He's twisting our words because Karp has an unprofitable company. Elon has a very profitable company. Don't conflate the two. At the end of the day, Wall Street just wants money.
You can do whatever you want if you're profitable.
Elon can say whatever the hell
you can
he
do
wants
whatever
as
you
long
want.
as he
It's
makes
that
money.
Elon can say very clearly in a sentence. Elon made like a mission statement, 2006. Here's what we want to do with the company, and he can give you
a mission statement every quarter with their shareholder.
And we read it. We actually sat there.
That means you guys just don't get it. Y'all are like
there is no
Like,
information.
what do you want me to say?
Pull up any one of those shareholders.
All right, guys.
Tell me what information is.
I was waiting for Chris because he's been smirking the whole time.
One at a time. One at a time. That's all. Let's just keep this one at a time.
I'll wait for your video.
Yeah.
It's a year anniversary on your video. You guys did a hate video on Palantir last year too. So.
No, it wasn't hate. I think that's when we read the shareholder letter. I said, Vitaly, let's read this and let's see if there's anything in here that would say, you know what, let's put 10 grand, 15 grand in this company. There is nothing about any real metrics with the company. It's all about the future. It sounds like a James Cameron Terminator VO, like
right? Because we should invest in companies that are not talking about the future. Totally got it. Let's
No,
move
but
on.
you can talk about the future in very clear terms, and you can give investors very clear milestones that you either hit or you don't. You don't make your goals of your company convoluted and wishy-washy.
It's
and
Here-
not.
here,
They want to get
uh,
profitable by 2025. They want to do 1.9 billion in revenue. Will they hit that? I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe they don't.
I got one thing
But
that
it's
you
not
could probably
complicated.
agree with. I got one thing that you could probably agree. I didn't say my fourth point. My fourth point is that they have a product, at least to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, too, because you've done a lot of work on this. That it seems very niche. You actually need engineers to go out to the site to help big companies make it happen, as opposed to having something like Snowflake or Microsoft that
turnkey.
you log onto their free website, you try it out, you have 30 days with it, you can experiment, you can do what you want. Can you do that with Palantir? How are they going to grow into this massive multi-trillion-dollar company if you can't even test it out? As a user, you have to go to everybody. You can't just go to multi-billion-dollar companies.
Chris, you want
They
to
definitely have, yeah, they definitely have an issue with scalability right now, where their whole business, and the thing is, it's not necessarily the case where they can't open it up. It's just that the leadership has decided that we are going to limit the number of people that have access to it to the only people that we judge to be worthy of having Palantir, which is one of two things, in my opinion. Either that's a reality where they're literally like, we're so good, we don't want anyone else to even try to attempt to utilize it and then make us look bad, or the product is inherently built for a limited user base, which means that it limits their total addressable market severely. So if you need software that needs constant intervention, that's not necessarily going to scale very well, which means it's not going to grow very well unless you have a whole list of developers and ecosystem partners that are third parties, like PwC, a bunch of the SIs, their system integrators, that will do the job for you, right? Like, basically, I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of Palantir folk are going to hate me for it, but that is the model of a consulting company.
Yes, this is actually, so my 4 points, this is one of the big ones, that if they can't scale or can't prove it, then I don't see how they're going to keep growing to these wild, crazy valuations that you guys are already giving it.
Well,
I feel
first
like
of all,
they're already,
I'm not
I already
giving
feel like
I'm not
they're already
saying
valued in
multi-trillion.
fully at this point.
I think it's 14 billion market cap. I would like it to get to 100 billion. I would like
Well,
it to
then they
nicely.
need products.
Actually, look, in that
They need
in that
products
point,
to go out there for everybody and not just select
Yeah, and
Fortune
I
500
can go through
companies.
every single press release. And Chris talked about the healthcare partnership one, that if they're able to execute on those have massive network effects, which are different than things like Snowflake and Datadog. They're fundamentally different. And so we can talk about the specifics, but I agree with you. There's a risk on executing. I don't think you guys actually understand the value of the product, because you guys haven't, just like I don't understand the value of inverters because I don't care that much, right? Which is fine.
but
Saying that
here's something-
poetry is the reason they're bad is such a
No, I'm not saying.
intellectually dishonest take. That
I'm not saying
unbelievable.
poetry is the reason they're bad. And actually, in order
I'm
in
saying the
agreeing
quality of the poetry is the reason they're
Right.
All right, let's go to
the
Tesla.
iambic,
Let's go to Tesla.
the iambic pentameter.
So the
No,
title of this is
wait,
very-
the haiku structure is no good.
Wait. But I do want to say this, just to this point about Palantir's scalability. I actually don't think that's a problem. And if I'm a Palantir bull, that might actually make me more bullish, in the sense that if their product is so powerful that it only works on, say, massive systems like that of governments, then I don't really care if they're scaling it down to smaller companies. If they need to send these engineers to do on-site work and integrate it to their systems, that just tells me that once they get that contract, you're not getting Palantir out of there. And that tells me that the more that they expand their government contracts, they're going to keep renewing them, and more and more. And what happens is, it's like there's a cost of business not using Palantir, right? If Palantir gives, say, governments a competitive edge, then you have an issue if you're a government not using them and you sort of need them. That is actually not an issue for me, that it's difficult to integrate their systems versus Snowflake.
Okay.
Tesla. The title is Four Bears Turned into Four Tesla.
We weren't
Bulls.
bears.
We were
I was
never
never a
So
bear.
you want to talk about how all of us bears decided to turn into Tesla Bulls?
Why don't you pull up your tweet? Why don't you pull up that tweet?
You should put 2 bears, 2 bulls. Convert the 2 bears into 4 bulls. Anyway.
Okay, let's start off with Chris. Chris was the biggest bear on Tesla. He was bigger than me because I had some shares before you, even though you've done well over the past couple of weeks. Are you a full-time bull on this stock, or do you see a bear case?
Yeah, I'm a pretty bullish. Like, I would say that when I was bearish, there was a couple of reasons, and this is like something that every investor typically makes, especially if you do valuations based on traditional metrics, which is you look at a company, you look at the business, you try to do your analysis on it, and then you look at the valuation. And the valuation is that big, like it's just when the valuation is too high, it's like a really bad smelling product. So you're just like, wow, the valuation's too high. That means that the company's overvalued. Let's get away with it. So when it dropped in valuation to something that was more acceptable, I was willing to look at it more like, okay, let me open up the lenses a little bit and do more deeper dive. So I would say initially, the minute I saw the valuation, I was just like, no, this is not a company even worth looking at because it's got such crazy high proposition where you would have to have the business executing so fully in order to realize any gains on it. So if you buy something that's super overpriced, that means that the execution has to be super perfect just to even break even for them. But that's not necessarily the case. And so when Tesla's valuation dropped, I was a little bit more interested in looking at it. So as I did more research on it, I tried to literally put the eyes of a bear on it. And what I typically do is I don't just look at the company, but I look at its competitors and see where they are, because that shows you how much of a moat they have and whether or not that valuation is deserved and what the future valuation is going to be, because there's always going to be competitors that are coming up. Now, as I did the research, instead of what I ended up seeing was that the company had a ton of moats that not a lot of people were talking about. And when I was like, wait a second, how come no one is able to penetrate this moat? How come the other companies, like, they're not doing it? The closest companies that I can look at right now that could be Tesla challengers are not even American car companies or the Japanese or the Germans or the Europeans, whatever.
Chinese.
It's actually the Chinese. Those are the only true competitors. And the only reason why the Chinese are even competitors is because they can do things at scale that no one else can. Now, here's the big differentiator of Tesla that literally, if you have to take a little bit of a down memory lane, which is the same arguments that are made about Apple were made about Tesla. Like, oh, look, all these other smartphones are coming in. That means that, Apple's going to lose its market share and it's going to end up going down. And that's why sometimes you look at Apple, Apple's PE was, I don't know if you guys know, sometimes at 10, 11, even though they were growing super fast. Because everyone was expecting the competition to come in and just literally destroy everyone. The problem is the quality of product is not what people took into consideration. The quality of the ecosystem is not something people took into consideration. When you combine all those things, Tesla is actually, they have three big moats that I don't think anyone else can really get around right now. Number one is they have a vertically integrated manufacturing and system, right? Which means that they're honestly not nearly as supply constrained as other companies are, because they're not relying on their counterparties to provide them with the goods. That's a big risk when you look at any business. If you're a great business, you have good components, a good car, whatever, or a good cell phone, you're almost at the beholden of your counterparties who are selling you the products to make that phone. So if your supply chain goes down, you're pretty much screwed. The other thing is, the innovations at Tesla are not just around the car, but around the manufacturing. And I think that's the thing that everyone just thinks, oh, there's a car company. No, they're actually not just a car company. They're actually very innovative in how they manufacture their cars. And they're able to innovate, which a lot of the main manufacturers can't. The other thing is, if you look at the legacy costs for a lot of manufacturers, they have tons of legacy costs, where Tesla, being so brand new to it, has little to no legacy costs, no debt. They have a young, innovative workforce that's constantly striving to do more and more, right? And on top of it, now you have a point where you're not challenging other EVs. That's the other mistake that a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Tesla's competing against other EVs. No, they're going for the whole pie, which is the transportation infrastructure of the planet.
So it's ICE vehicles.
Yeah, ICE vehicles, right?
ICE vehicles.
So that's what our entire economy is running on, ICE vehicles, whether that be trucks, whether that be cars, whether that be even buses. I'm sure that Tesla will eventually come up with multi-category products, which they're going to be able to address. Like a few years ago, they went to luxury sedans. That was the target market that they went for. Then they went to mid-size luxury. Now they're going into the everyday man's car. Now they're going into the next big segment, which is trucks. And then after that, semi-trucks. So you can see them kind of vans. I'm sure that they're going to create a van product soon enough. right? And so all of those things add to their total addressable market. Now, what's also really cool is that in the process of developing the manufacturing and the scaling technologies, they discovered their lead in other segments, whether that be battery development and battery scaling up. That's
Charging.
an charging infrastructure. So what ends up happening is the original intent of the company when you get started. Good companies have a mission focus. Our job is to make an electric car, but you will learn things along the way. And guess what Elon's been able to do? Elon's been able to take the things that he's learned along the way and create separate businesses within the same Tesla brand and actually expand on that. That's what Amazon did. Amazon, when they first came out, their job was to sell books online. But did they just say, oh, we're going to be an online book retailer forever? No. They went into the other segments, and then they ended up having to develop AWS. Guess what? They sold AWS, and now they're making tremendous amount of money on AWS. I don't know if you guys know about Amazon with their robotics. They ended up having to have so much demand for robotics to get in and do the work in the warehouse. Amazon right now is the largest robotics company on the planet. If you look at how many robots they have,
Well, they
have
also
more
bought
robots.
a robot. They also bought a robotics company as well.
Yeah, Kiva. Yeah. And now they actually have the largest lead in that. Anyone who tries to challenge Amazon right now is not facing against an online retailer. You're facing up against an online retailer with a robotic workforce that's slowly, dramatically being able to scale up more and more with with AWS, another system. And then now they're doing advertising because they realize that, hey, why are we advertising ourselves on other social media platforms? We can do the advertising on our own. And right now that's almost a $40 billion a year. What is that thing called? New business that they created over the last 5 years. So good businesses, they typically, what they do is they have an idea, they use it, and then they branch out and they go to other things and they capitalize on it. Apple did the same thing. When Apple first came out with the iPod, they didn't just say, okay, our job is to make music players for the rest of our lives. They ended up going into phones. And then they said, oh, what if we make it a bigger product? Here you go. Here's an iPad now. Hey, let's do another thing and put it on the wrist. And now we have a wrist product. Hey, everyone's always listening to headphones using their phones. Guess what? AirPods. These are the kinds of things that I'm seeing with Tesla happening, where
the upcoming VR or AR, VR glasses.
So
Exactly.
I want to point out, when people say, this is back to me and Amit also talked a couple of times about this, but the competition is coming for Tesla. And every time you hear that, it's laughable, because how many other companies are vertically integrating everything that we talked about here, like their own charging network, right? Insurance, like we're talking about car companies, full self-driving. And if you don't believe in it, how many companies are doing that part of it? And how far along are they? And what about just the manufacturing portion, which you mentioned? How many of them are doing single piece castings or even two piece castings and welding those? So Tesla's doing everything in its power to have these multiple businesses in service of the car business right now. But at the same time, these are obviously going to be multi-trillion-dollar businesses in their own right. So who else is doing that? That's my point. There is nobody doing all of these things in one
Sandy
company.
Monroe, he was saying that Tesla produces a Model Y every 40 seconds. And I think the industry is limited to 60. I think the other OEMs can only produce a car, say, every 60.
I thought it was less. I thought it was like every 20 or maybe.
Well, here's
no. Every 40 seconds, I think he was saying.
Here's the problem that you run. Here's the problem that you run into when you don't have an integrated, scaled model, because you're reliant on your third parties to do the job for you. Right now, Tesla said, if we rely on the charging infrastructure that's done by other people, guess what? The reliability, if it's not there, that means that our products won't sell. So we need to do our own charging infrastructure.
Exactly.
Look at right now, all the other car companies, they're relying on ChargePoint, Electrify America. And every time I've seen videos on these things are failing in the middle of America when you are trying to electrify the grid. So if you look at it, you need to sometimes have an ecosystem approach, and not a lot of other car companies have the capital that's required to do that, while simultaneously maintaining their cash cow, which is slowly dying. I hate to say this. Look at the auto market and how much contraction there's been, whereas Tesla is still growing, right? Yes, I'm sure that it shaves a few points of growth off of Tesla's top, but it doesn't necessarily like go down. Like if you look at the year-over-year sales of traditional ICE vehicles, and look at each company segments, there's multiple companies that have gone down in terms of sales like crazy. Whereas Tesla
almost all of them. except
Yep.
a couple of EV manufacturers like BYD is up.
Yep.
Tesla's up.
Vitaly, Carlos, let me switch to you guys. You guys are huge Tesla bulls. Did this quarter surprise you or reconvict you? How did you guys feel when you saw this quarter?
My conviction was always, I'm basically fully convicted. I did not sell any shares, meaning as it was topping, that was the only mistake I made. But I'm not selling out of any of my position at all. I'm not worried about my Tesla position.
Was there anything in the quarter though that made you worried, or everything was cool? Like, do you think it was a good quarter? I guess
I think it was a good quarter, but I do worry about when margins compress. I still have to worry if Wall Street will still end up knocking them down and keeping them lower for longer than I would like, because as they make more vehicles, we got to think about it. How many people want to buy $50,000-$60,000 vehicles? They might have saturated that. I don't know, because BMW, they've surpassed BMW sales, right? So those are the equivalent vehicles that they're taking over those markets. So they need to increase their product lines, which they're doing, but they're doing it slowly. So there is an interim moment here. Maybe it's this year that the Cybertruck is not out, the Semi is still not there, and those things are ramping into 2024, that Tesla might have a situation where it's just going sideways and nobody's making money, if that's what we care about here, right? But
the quarter.
I was just going to say, but is it worth dollar cost averaging for people who don't have any position? I have a great position and Carlos has a great position. Yeah. We don't have to buy any more shares. Do we want to? Yes. We always want a better price. Okay.
Yeah.
And the point is, I'm not rushing in. I don't need to. I just need them to execute, and I have to wait. That's where I'm at.
I just keep getting more and more bullish as this is happening. I believed even before that we were going to see a blowout Q4. I didn't expect it to be as strong as it was, because Elon had said he's not going to be rushing deliveries for the end of the quarter. But I think he kind of did this to make a statement, especially with the IRA. And then they knew that they were going to lower prices to qualify for the incentives. So yes, I worry about margins compressing, but this was part of it, right? They've always said that they were artificially raising prices to control demand, as well as to account for some of their own increases in their supply chain. So
can we answer this question by Riley? How many multiples can I realistically get when Tesla's at 500 billion? Am I dumb or thinking this is a mediocre long-term stock?
I mean,
I've always said, if I can answer, well, I'm actually going to be more bearish than you. I've always said that after around 2 trillion, I'm DCAing out. So I don't have to DCA the whole position out, but I'm DCAing out. So that's from here to 4x. If that doesn't mean anything to you, then invest in Palantir.
That's also proportional to the position that you have. You know, we're buying shares in 2018.
A 4x is pretty massive for me.
Right. Yeah. So if you're investing now at this market, we weren't investing at this market cap. We started when it was like 50 billion.
I don't know. If you put in, let's say 25,000, that could be a lot of money for you. If that goes up to $100,000, does that mean anything to you? If it doesn't mean anything to you, honestly, maybe you shouldn't be investing in Tesla.
Mm-hmm. But then the question is, where do you think you'll get that kind of a multiple in the time frame that we're talking about?
Of course, SoFi. So.
Yeah, SoFi and Palantir. Go all in there.
Bro, it is going to be so funny if it works out. Like if SoFi and Palantir in the next 3 years, 5x.
I have SoFi stock.
No, but you still publicly dismiss us as nerds every Friday for talking about them. So
No, I dismiss your boring podcast. That's what I'm dismissing.
It's what you're saying.
It's not played chess at the beginning of the pod.
The one thing you guys don't say on your podcast is that Palantir is a complete spec play that can go bankrupt, that can fail. And I have Palantir.
The government won't let Palantir fail.
You never say that.
The government
which is
won't
amazing.
let Palantir fail.
No, I'm talking about SoFi. Did I say Palantir? I'm talking about SoFi.
There's a Freudian slip.
It's a Freudian slip. I'm sorry.
The government doesn't give a fuck about SoFi.
Vitaly's a clone.
Let me bring up, SoFi is still not a profitable company as far as I know, unless you guys know something I don't. And so there is a possibility Palantir again. SoFi does not last another couple of years, and maybe they just don't get scale, and that doesn't happen. It's not guaranteed that a good company actually survives.
Yeah,
it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, and it is more guaranteed than not that Tesla is going to do well from here.
Tesla's going to survive. Yeah. And if you're okay with 25%, 50% growth a year, you got it. That's what you got. You got 25 to 50% growth every year, probably for a decade. If you're okay with that, you should obviously buy shares even now. And if you're not okay with that, stay away.
All right. March 1st is Investor Day. Rumors are we're going to hear about the next gen platform, and it might actually be a single piece casting. I don't know. That's
What do you mean by next gen platform? What does that mean exactly?
So Tesla's upset to announce what their Generation 3 platform would be, right? Which is the smaller, compact, $25,000 car. It's the car
Okay.
that he talked about. I think he talked about it. Was it on earnings or was it on at AI Day when he was saying he wants a car that costs 50% less to make than the Model 3 or Model Y. One way that you can do that easily is just eliminate one of the castings. And if it takes two gigacasters to make one Model Y, now you can basically double production. Right.
I'm not sure that would be a good idea to put it out right now. I mean, the only reason why is because
I agree.
They would announce it. It would be something
Yeah,
that would be announced, and the rumor.
They shouldn't even announce it. They should not
Yeah.
even
I
say
think
anything.
they have no. I
Yeah.
think they absolutely
I
should,
hope they
should
don't.
announce
the
it.
reason why is because what you're going to do is create a whole bunch of people now that are going to be waiting for that car to come out instead of trying to buy a Model 3 or a Model Y. Right now the push should be to try to get as much battery improvement out of it so that you can sell these. Like, the goal should be to beat out ICE. Like, that is the goal. Like, literally, you need to make the economics of
there's
ICE
more
so
to it. There's
Yeah,
more to it. That Generation 3 platform is supposedly is designed for their inevitable robo-taxi network.
Yeah.
So it would be in conjunction with the release of full FSD, right? So now you've got a vehicle, $25,000 that's of full FSD. Incredible margins on those, right? If you're still charging $15,000 for the FSD package, so you could get that car, say, for $40,000 with FSD, and it's a money maker. It's basically a money printer for you. So that's the other part of it, is that it's not necessarily competing with the Model 3 and the Model Y because it's meant to be a fleet, right? Say a 50 kilowatt hour battery, right? Smaller footprint, still seats 4.
For me, I think it might be. I don't know if it's going to be announced so much, but it might be around LFPs. Like, I think Tesla has pretty much switched 100% to LFPs, right? LFPs are about 15 to 20% cheaper than regular lithium, and they don't have cobalt and what's the other?
I don't think that's true
nickel.
about LFP.
I
by the
don't.
way.
I
That's
don't
not
think they
true
have
about
the
LFP.
same. I don't think they have the same.
That's the lower range model. That's the 279-mile model that you're talking about is LFP.
Yeah, and
The
they're
others-
heavier batteries, and they're not as powerful. Like, they wouldn't be able to give you the performance that you would. A guy did a lap at the Nuremberg in that car with the
Yeah.
LFP battery.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I think right now Tesla is definitely trying to go for as much scale as possible. So LFP is much more scalable than lithium ion, considering all the cost challenges and availability of minerals and everything else. If anything, I would say they need to get a lithium refinery together so that that's just one more part of the ecosystem that they don't have to worry about.
Isn't that part of what they're doing in Giga Nevada? That was part of the expansion that they just announced.
Yeah,
Which
but I
they're
don't
not-
think I don't
Which
I
they're
don't
not
think
sure
they
if that
actually.
was the new factory that they're
Yeah.
supposed to announce. So supposedly we might hear that they're opening a factory in Mexico, right? Or if
Yeah.
not, then maybe this expansion of the Nevada factory was the announcement of the new Gigafactory. I don't know. I think that we'll see another one.
Yeah.
But it's mostly for battery production, 4680 production for the semi, and presumably for this new $25,000.
Well, I want to bring up this Generation 3. I hope they don't do it because if Elon is not ready for it and it's years out, and he says it's like a year out, I think Chris is right. We have an issue because people will wait forget about buying the Model 3 when you can get a cheaper sort of Model 3 for 25,000. Even if I couldn't afford a Tesla for 50, 60 grand and I can buy it for 25 grand, I would easily wait and make sure I don't save my pennies and just wait.
But why? Even if you don't have the money to buy a Model 3 right now at $40,000, you don't have the money a year from now to buy a Model 3 for $40,000. Every $1,000, every time they lower prices incrementally, they open their markets exponentially.
I
So
agree, but a lot of people start waiting.
They're
A lot
not-
of people
they're
start waiting.
Yeah,
No.
but they're not in competition with each other. Like the
Yes,
person
they
that's
are.
looking, no, they're not. The
hold
person
on.
that's
A
looking
Model
for a $20,000 vehicle is not going to buy a Model 3 in a year because they don't have the money regardless.
Yes, they are. They're going to wait, and if they're saving for a Model 3 and that's what they want, but then Tesla says, "Hey, we're going to have in a year, basically a Model 3, but that's cheaper. We're going to call it whatever. What are we calling Model 2?
Model 2.
Whatever it's going to be." So they will wait because just like you're saying, it's going to cost them a lot of sales, and they're going to wait. It's called the Osborne effect. This is not something I made up. By the way. This is a real thing.
No, you're right. You're right. If your argument was
It's
that
not
in
my
this-
argument. This is the world's
No,
argument.
what
That
I'm
everything
saying
has
is
worked.
what I'm saying is, if your argument was in this realm of higher interest rates, maybe people are not going to want to finance a loan. Maybe they want to wait for interest rates to come down to finance a Model 3.
That too. That's a different
That's
issue.
That's fine. But no, I don't. I think the person that's looking for a replacement for like a Toyota Camry, a $20,000 vehicle, they're not buying a Tesla at all. Tesla does not have access to that person because they can't afford a Model Y or a Model 3. Even if it comes down to 30 grand, but you now have a car at $20,000, you have access to a completely different market. Farzad had a great chart that related to this in terms of the share, the amount of market share that each, say, $10,000 price point gives you in the car market. And it's massive. Right now, Tesla's sort of sitting in the middle, but there's like 80% or 70% of the car market that's below, say, $30,000 that Tesla doesn't have access to right now.
Yeah, but at the same time, you also are running into the cost of the battery challenge. The cost of the battery right now is almost 20,000. So what margin are you going to make on the rest of the
I think
car?
it's 10,000, by the way.
10,000.
Is it
10,000?
No, I heard it was 20, but
no.
But I
It's-
could be
it's down
wrong.
to
Wait, if
10,000.
you-
In a Model Y, in a Model Y, it's $20,000, but it's a 75 kilowatt hour battery. If you take out 1,500 pounds and you can get the battery to 50 kilowatts, right? And if it's an LFP technology that you can charge it to 100% every day. See, we can't charge our cars to 100% every day. It
Well, we
actually is not
shouldn't.
good for the battery.
Right.
Wait,
You
but
shouldn't
Carlos,
do
does it matter if they make margins off this next gen thing? Because isn't it just FSD for them? Like
That's
don't
the other
they-
thing. That's the other thing. It's about getting them in the ecosystem. I mean, Apple could sell you these phones at cost because they want to get you in and buying services and making money on the apps. That's how you have to look at it too. If they're making 10
No.
grand, say on a Model Y, that person that buys FSD, they've given them more money on the second, what Monroe calls the second bite of the apple. You made 15 grand on top of the 10 that you already made. So if their goal is to get, what did they have 400,000 subscribers now for FSD?
400,000 beta testers in
At
North America.
$15,000 a pop. You're talking about them, like you said, even if they sell it to you at 5 or 10% margin, what's the margin of the software that they sell you on top of that? The infotainment and the other. It's almost,
I have a
almost
question real quick about FSD. The bull case, right, is that we don't have to worry about driving the car, which unleashes more human productivity, right? Like that's ultimately the vision at the end of the day.
just
That's
safer.
what people,
It's safer.
it's just safer.
Less accidents.
Okay.
Well, I just want to put it, even that, I like that everybody says FSD is failing, and we just found out 400,000 people have bought it, which I just calculated is $6 billion on a failing business.
Right. That
More,
no one
more
wants
than
that-
10 Palantirs have made in this past year, by the way. Just FYI.
Okay, so I guess we transition from Tesla then to this market.
Let's just leave Palantir alone.
No,
Since
I'm
you
not
guys
leaving
been
him
beating me
alone.
up.
Leave it alone.
No, because he's so bullish, he needs a counterpart. I am the
He
counterpart.
does, he does.
He's like,
Do
even
we-
if you didn't want it.
Do we think this market rally at all is worth buying? Tesla's 500 billion. Google is getting back to where it was in the hundreds. Amazon's in the hundreds. Snapchat at $10 now. They have earnings. We have earnings this week. Are you guys buying this? The Fed still has to raise rates, right? They're not slowing down. So
Yep. I think you said that on Twitter. I'm not saying it's fake, but I don't think that investors feel like, oh, we're out of the woods now, guys. We're off to the races. No way. I mean, the pain that we went through the last year has been too great for anyone. I think in the way that people have lost so much money, there's going to be a point when, even if you're 5-10% over on profit, people are going to take profits, and the money that they have to show profits for their investors, right? They have to show profits quarterly. They're not going to.
Well,
they're not
Tesla
gonna
just
let
went up 80% in 2 months, so I don't know about taking 5%.
So wait, no,
off
but
the
I'm saying,
table.
you think it's just going to keep running from here? There's going to be.
I want to bring up. Can I bring up a Tesla chart since it's
Yeah.
a Tesla show?
it's just
Yeah.
a Tesla show every week at this point. It's just
It's-
And I actually wanted to look at SPY too. If you
Tesla
can
hour.
bring up
Hold
the S&P, because this is what I
Screen.
feel like happened in March 2020. Remember?
All right, you guys see this? You guys see my little chart?
Yeah.
My little chart. My big chart, I meant. Sorry, Kelly. Big chart.
Doof.
why are you messing with Kelly, bro? Leave her alone. She's hardcore.
Leave her alone. She started with me. All right. All right. So anyway, I just want to point out that we are under the 200-day for Tesla. So the rally might not be over for Tesla. If it's going to fail, I would say it would fail at the 200-day,
224.
which is around it's around $230. So I think we still might have a little bit more to go. But also the RSI is getting a little bit hot here. But if you look at the RSI for Tesla, it ends up a lot of times getting pretty hot. So we can go up to 84, even as high as 93 here. So do we have some gas left in this tank? I think it's possible. At the end of the day,
you mean electrons?
we have
no gas in the tank.
But me and Carlos did an episode, and one day it'll be out. Oh no, this one's out actually. This one's on our channel.
Oh, the one we did Friday, yeah.
We did this Friday as a live discussion, but I think we're in this trading range right here, so we'll see if it holds. But I don't think we're going to pass around 280 or so. That would be my max. I don't even think that's happening, but that's the max if we're in this downtrend still, because we're still in a downtrend. We are not in any uptrend right now. And can we go back to like around 130? Absolutely. So are you saying it's a fake rally? No. In bear markets, we have rallies, and we can go up way higher than most people think. In fact, I'm seeing 230 is very possible.
But even in a bear market rally. I think Amit was talking about the market, not necessarily just Tesla, though.
Well, I'm just bringing up stocks.
Well, Tesla has to do with it, right? Because like Tesla seems to have carried the market to this. What are we? S&P on 405, so we're up 10% or 6%, something like that, since 380 or whatever.
I don't know if it's Tesla carrying the S&P. I think it's S&P pumping, and Tesla pumps always more than S&P.
No, but the S&P wasn't pumping before Tesla earning. I mean, like, what was the catalyst for why Friday was one of the best days we've had, other than the day after Tesla earnings? Like, it's weird, it's stupid, right? But
I mean, I personally don't know why there'd be a certain day where it would pump more than any other day. But
yeah,
if you notice the swings, even look at all the swings, by the way, that happen in Tesla stock. Even here, let me show you real quick if I can zoom in a bit. But there's plenty of times, and let me take this tool, this measuring tool. So here it pumped from here to this point, and it went up 50%. And everybody's like, oh, wow, we're back in action, right? So here it pumped from this point. Let me see, back in this day, went all the way up to here. That was 52%. Maybe we were extended, but we also fell down a lot more. So now we've pumped a lot. We pumped, at this point, we pumped 64%. But look how far we fell down. So I think it was due. It was about time, because quality stocks, or even bad stocks, eventually they reverse course and they pump really hard, even if we're in a bear market. That's just my point.
Did you bring up that point that you made on Friday, Benjamin Cowan, about how even in a bear market, 90% of the time the market is actually going up? It's just when it tanks that it tanks. That was actually a really good point.
Yeah. Was that clear, everybody?
For me, I think it's going to depend on being selective about the companies that you want to be in right now, right? So I think what happens is when times go bad, people tend to throw out good companies that have high cash flow, have proper business operating metrics, along with the bathwater. I think so many people are index investors now that the index carries the bulk of the selling, and what happens is great companies get sold off along with the bad ones. Mm-hmm. So right now, I still haven't seen the number of bankruptcies that I would like to see. I think there's a lot of zombie companies still out there that will probably get unwound in the next year or two, but that doesn't mean that the valuations should stay suppressed for a lot of companies that are still performing really well. And I think there's a lot of catalysts for companies to be able to cut and trim back on supply and spending that may end up carrying them into a very strong 2024 and subsequently 2025. Any company right now that has the latitude to scale back on spending is doing it. And I think it's going to be important.
Kelly,
I don't know why.
I'm laughing because of Chris's analysis. It's so good. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, it's just about finding quality companies right now, and that's what everyone should be doing. When bear markets hit, you find the good quality companies, you invest in them so that they end up growing tenfold. Wish I was that glass of water. Okay.
It's so
sorry, Chris, but to your point, first of all, even though we're in a bear market, by the way, this is the time to buy stock.
So now I want to take a drink of my water, but I'm afraid of what's going to happen. Like, I'm actually thirsty. I don't want to drink it now.
It's a white jug. What's in there? All right.
Okay.
But
geez, Vitaly, you're blushing like crazy. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, dude.
I'm just laughing. I think it's funny and cute. Don't tell my wife.
Right. Actually, to that point, Chris, this was like part of a joke, but I had to go to an AutoZone today.
I got to drink again.
Pick up something. I'm taking a really long.
We can't fucking drink water.
Vitaly's drinking. Kelly's the one who's thirsty.
I'm being thirsty. That's the issue.
All right, I'm
Okay,
happy.
let's talk about TikTok getting banned. Do we think it's finally happening? Senator Josh Hawley brought up a bill. If it happens, Chris's calls are going to print even more than they already have on Meta. What do we think?
But you're saying banned from government phones?
No. Josh Hawley wants to ban it in the United States. He's bringing
Oh,
up
in the United
formal-
States.
formal bill to get rid of this shit. Look, I don't want them to get rid of TikTok, to be honest, because
Hmm.
I've been using it and it's pretty cool. Now, granted, I don't think they're going to get rid of it because I don't think the Congress is going to agree. Like there has to be a 66% majority for them to agree to get rid of it, right? Now, if they did get rid of it, there would be a lot of attention. So there's like some upsides and downsides to it going away. But in general, I don't think they're going to let 80 million Americans that use it every day not get to use it. I don't think that's how America works. India works like that.
Well,
Not America.
first of all, it's the way that the government tends to make pretty much destroy anything is that they will create legislation around it so that literally people who are creating on it, people who are thinking of creating on it, the whole mystique behind it will end up going into the negative, right? So right now, think about it this way. If you're an advertiser and you find out that this TikTok is literally just funneling a bunch of CCP messages, do you really want to be associated with that? No. Same thing with the political ramifications of being on TikTok. So people are distancing themselves from TikTok a little bit. There's this large segment of Americans right now, they're woken up to the poisonous, cancerous stuff that's going on TikTok that's literally being fed, pumped in through an algorithm. So I think a lot of parents, a lot of people, even a lot of younger people are starting to wake up to the idea and say, look, there are other alternatives out there that have the same capabilities, but don't have the same potential for us being negatively influenced. And that's why I see Reels growing like crazy, where I see TikTok is flatlining. So if you look at the statistics, it makes total sense.
So about TikTok, one thing, Huawei was banned in the United States, correct? Is that the company they banned?
Yeah.
For basically doing something to their chips that spy on us. So if the government decides, first of all, that they actually are spying on us, I see no reason why they wouldn't ban it. I'm not saying they are doing it, but I see no reason why there wouldn't be an outright ban. They've already done it to a Chinese company. Why wouldn't they do it to another one? The other thing is about India. Did India ban TikTok? Is that banned there?
They banned it in 2020 completely.
Okay. And who else banned them besides India? What other countries are banning TikTok?
I don't know, but there's
UK?
a decent amount of them.
Because that's interesting, because I'm sure that the U.S. government is looking at these other countries then saying, oh, you're banning it for this reason. We should be concerned about this as well. So I'm sure in the back offices of government, they're probably talking about this.
Well, the thing is, they're finding a lot of stuff that have basically been claimed to be true. If you look at the software code, there's people out there that have actually gone through all the lines of code on TikTok and said, look, wait a second. There's actually information that's showing that they're in control. Like I was sharing with Amit not too long ago about Jason Kalkanis.
I mean, not too long ago. It was yesterday, Chris.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, no, about TikTok actually having the ability to influence what gets trending and what doesn't. And there's actually some studies on the view counts might be fake, in which case it's almost like, hey, Vitaly wants to, if you want to attract an influencer to post more content on TikTok, what they'll do is they'll incentivize you by making the engagement fake. So they'll say, oh, here's 100,000 people that watched your channel or watched your video, when there's actually not 100,000 people that watched it, but you believe that you're more important than you really are.
Chris, I don't think it's if it's not 100,000, it's 95,000, right? Like I think there's still for example, I did a TikTok the other day. I think got 6,000 views and a lot of engagement, and it's still getting views today. The TikTok was me talking about how if you're a startup founder, you have to be willing to be cringe and put yourself out there. It's like 6,000 people, connected through DMs.
Yeah, but here's the thing: how do you know that that's real?
But I don't really care if it's 6,000 or 5,000. I just care that it got attention.
No. But that's what I'm trying to say. How do you even
it's
know
not
it's not
7.
1,000? How do you know it's not 1,000?
Yeah.
Well, the levels, the engagement. I mean, the pure likes. I mean, maybe that's being manipulated, but I can see the notifications of the likes. I go to the account.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That if you manipulate a person, see, right now you're classic case of manipulated person because you saw a high number, so now you're going to create more on TikTok.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm gonna create.
See?
More.
But here's the thing: But you don't know if that data is real or not. That's the problem.
It's Chris. But my thing is, it's way more than anything YouTube Shorts or.
But dude, if it's fake, it doesn't mean shit. That's what
Well,
I'm saying.
hold on,
bro. These are a guy.
Chris, he doesn't know. You can't say that yet. He doesn't know that.
But
that it's
neither
fake.
does Chris. The thing is, neither does Chris. Chris, you don't know.
That's what I'm
percentage
saying.
of that
Chris
is fake.
doesn't know.
No, but also what I'm saying is, regardless of Chris could be 99% right. The 1%, like there was a guy from Boston who called me because we connected over that TikTok, did a little bit of networking. Like that's a real phone call I had. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so
That
that's
was a guy-
more than what
that was
Instagram
actually a
Reels
guy
and
from China.
YouTube Shorts is giving.
Yeah, but how do you know? How do you know that guy was real?
He was in China.
How do you know? Right? How do you
He's
know?
fucking China. But my point is like my point here. I agree with you, Chris. Everything you're saying is correct. Until Instagram and YouTube Shorts can give the discovery, and the reason it's not happening is very simple. It's not the algos. There is a feed for Instagram photos and a feed for YouTube thumbnails that is not the main feed for vertical video. TikTok has one feed that's vertical video, and they just condition people to consume that way. The other platforms have copied it. The AI is up there, right? The Wall Street Journal did a great piece that Meta's AI is up there, but it's not what people want to do on Instagram at the level of what they're doing on TikTok. Now, if TikTok gets banned, maybe that changes, but it's not happening at the moment.
For
It
me,
also could just be.
yeah.
It also could just be like a public theater where they know that the bill will get shot down, so people can say that
That's what I
they
think
were
it is.
against it. Get everybody on the record, right? And then you can continuously fundraise off of that, right? You can do this. You can put it to vote 2 or 3 more times, and maybe it eventually will get banned. But will it get banned on this particular vote? I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not. I wouldn't think so.
I think in the past, the question around banning TikTok was something that was brought up by the Trump administration and all that stuff. And there was a lot of pushback because there were no equivalents out there. And there would have been a lot of outrage from content creators and influencers and all this other stuff. Whereas now, I think most content creators and influencers, they're not beholden to one platform. They're actually going and doing multiple platforms. And I think Meta and Facebook have realized that and actually started to do better in terms of monetizing those influencers and creators and getting them on board. I think if that happens, then here's the other thing with TikTok too. TikTok, if you look at the total CPMs that people are getting, it's literally pennies, if not less. And I think at the end of the
the
day,
ad revenue is disgusting. It's
Yeah.
horrible. It's so bad.
what ends up happening is if you can entice people to actually make a living off of another platform and then say, hey, listen, if you want that money, you're going to have to be exclusive. That just is going to drive more people to the other platform. So I just think right now Meta has an opportunity. And this is where Meta, I think, has failed in the past. And Jason Calacanis actually brought it up that Meta was never good at monetizing creators. Whereas I think that tune is changing
Yeah.
a little bit.
They fucked up on that big time. YouTube's the
Yeah.
only platform that actually figured that out. The only
So
platform.
in 20
agree.
2030 or even in 10 years, what do you guys think will be the top social media platforms?
Audia.
Boom.
No, look, I think first of all, I do think there's going to be an audio platform that gets steam. I don't know if it's me, but I think people are not satisfied with Spotify. I think Spotify's not making any money. I mean, music is at best a net 5% income business. They have to figure out podcast ads. So I do think audio is going to be big. I don't know if it's me or someone else, but I think even YouTube could make a play. Like someone's going to figure out audio. If not that, the only platform I trust will be here in 2030 is YouTube. And that's because search
Not
and
even Meta?
Google. Well, and I think people won't give a fuck about Meta. I don't know in 2030. I mean, they've got to do a lot of product innovation, but video is not going anywhere.
Video.
Meta is updates, like your text updates, photo updates, your family. That stuff gets boring, right? Like, and that's why Reels are being so popular because it's engaging. YouTube and video is like we will never. The only bear case on YouTube is the metaverse becomes real and YouTube doesn't figure out how to incorporate themselves. But if that's not the case, we will be watching video for the next 100 years. This video is like video.
Mhm.
Like video's amazing. I mean, we've had television for damn near 100 years now. Not damn, like about 60, 70. So I would say YouTube.
And that's on the video side. What do you think about like say Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the way that people just connect, WhatsApp? Like I'm even including those. Like WhatsApp, you think WhatsApp's still going to be like a major
WhatsApp is growing. That's going to be
major
bigger.
communication tool? I could see it morphing into more because it is really good for business and it's really good like across borders, right? It's got a really good like when I talk to people overseas, it's so convenient. And the fact that you can like a video chat like right in the it's nice. It is very nice for that cross-border thing. It makes it feel like everyone's in the same country.
Well, I think the mistake that what's it called Apple Messenger is making, obviously they're locking people into Apple.
Mhm.
But what I find is that people who don't have Apple, I use WhatsApp with them. I don't want to use regular text with them. It's basically WhatsApp that I use, and even to FaceTime, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I have tenants and everything. So the easiest way I do it is through WhatsApp, and they have WhatsApp already. So I'm never like, oh, do you have this? I can always, they basically say, yes, I
Just
have
find
this,
them on
easiest way to
WhatsApp,
do
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
my point is that I think that's going to be the standardized, almost a standardized messaging platform, because Android and Google, Apple and Google are fighting it out, and WhatsApp is taking over that whole standardized messaging.
But you think
I
so
think
you
Twitter could disrupt WhatsApp really well if they fix their DMs and they make
the
it.
DM
No,
suck.
that's not
The
true.
DM
That's not true. If I go, hey, do you have can I tweet, can I direct message you on Twitter? A lot of people I know don't have Twitter, but they do have
Well,
WhatsApp.
that's so they make a Twitter account. It's not that complicated, but
No,
they have
it
to
is.
grow. You
It
have to
is.
grow.
Yeah.
But
it is
Twitter,
complicated.
Twitter needs to add a lot of functionality. Like we need to be able to make video calls like what happened to Periscope. You know what I mean? Like that used to be cool. Like I need to be able to have the video chats and be able to communicate with people across.
What do you think Elon's trying to do right now with Twitter? Like I mean, a lot has happened, but nothing really new has happened
I mean,
feature-wise
he
other than
said what he wants to do. He wants to attract the content creators. There's going to be a way where you can have much longer format tweets for the writers that need more than 160 characters. They want to make video an integral.
Okay, here's
part
a question. Do you think Mr. Beast would be a good CEO of Twitter?
He'd be
No.
he'd be a good officer of the company, but no, I don't think he'd be a good CEO of the company. Maybe I don't know, CTO or something He's definitely
CMO. He's marketing.
yeah, he's got something that he can bring to the team, but is he the guy to run the behind the scenes tech? No. If you watch the interview with Lex Friedman, you're going to walk away thinking, yeah, he's not really CEO material, but
No,
he's
he's not.
definitely on the board or like a consultant.
Bro, he could never make money. Okay, that's the thing. He
Why?
will even
He
say
makes
himself.
30 million a year.
No.
He never
Hold
makes
on.
money.
He even he'll say it like, I've grown, but all I've really done is just give away most of it.
Yeah.
By his
see, at the
choice.
end of the day-
By his choice.
No.
That doesn't matter.
Of
You have
course.
shareholders. He doesn't.
I
make
know.
money.
If you have shareholders, you're kind of like, hey, wait a sec. It's like, I have an idea. We made 30 billion last year. Let's spend 29.5 billion.
5 billion.
The board of directors be like, we need to get this guy the hell out of here. A board of directors and a shareholder base would never let you do what Mr. Beast does. Like
He's-
Mr. Beast. Yeah.
Mr. Beast is really smart. I think he downplays how intelligent he actually is.
Absolutely.
That guy would probably be a 160, IQ or something.
He,
That guy's
from,
smart.
from what I know, he owns a fast food franchise. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He has a donations business or giving charity business.
Philanthropy.
He has a studio he's running. He literally bought a giant building, massive building, to run all of his studio and his production. So he's running a massive team out there, wherever the hell he is, somewhere in the middle of the country. So I think people are not crediting how actually good at business he is. But you're right.
No, so here's the thing. I think Mr. Beast is great at getting traffic and attention and then driving that to a business. The problem is, as the CEO of Twitter, there's two words why he would not be able to be successful as CEO: free speech. Mr. Beast is the most apolitical person on the planet. For example, today, I got a call from a very, very, very significant person in the world. I'll tell you guys off camera. Like crazy elite person calls my phone. So I'm like, how'd you get this number? His Twitter account got suspended. And he thinks I know a guy, which I actually do know a guy that knows the guy that can help him get his Twitter account unblocked. And so he messages me and we get on the phone and I try to help him and see what I can do. Now, why did his account get blocked? They published this thing and this thing had this and that. And then he's getting the corporate responses from Twitter why they have to block the thread. Mr. Beast having to make free speech type of decisions for some of the most elite people on the planet that are calling me today, little old me, to see if I can help get their Twitter account unbanned. I don't think he would be able to take a political stance from left or right perspective or just like hate speech perspective, because he's so anti-political, because he knows that he has the greatest opportunity in the world to be the most loved figure of all time. And so I don't think he would be able to make real decisions about censorship and moderation that a CEO, like if Aldea ever gets big, I have to make decisions of certain content.
I disagree, man. I think you need someone who's very neutral and impartial at the helm, because otherwise you're going to get lambasted by each side. If you say, hey, I think that this conservative idea is a good one, dude, there's going to be liberals that are all over you. Just like
I do say it's not about that. He doesn't have the capacity to actually. What do you think Mr. Beast could assess if something is hate speech? If you call a woman a man, is that hate speech? You think he even wants to have that discussion?
That's the point.
No way in hell. He wants to.
There's a difference between
people, which was one of the best videos he ever uploaded yesterday. It was amazing. I don't think he wants to deal with transgender issues.
No, and that's why he doesn't want to deal with these issues.
He
in fact, he has too much fun in a day to now deal with the politics of Twitter.
Who would be a current CEO that we know that would be a good CEO of something?
John Legere from T-Mobile. He would have been the perfect one. Perfect. Literally, he's got the liberal chops and he's got the business acumen. He turned around T-Mobile to literally the biggest thing right now, and he's actually one of the. If you ever go on John Legier's like Twitter Spaces, it's amazing. He's great. If you ask anyone who's worked for him at T-Mobile, same thing. If you want someone who can turn around a business, monetize the shit out of it, and have the chops to actually get people queued up and interested in something, John Legier. John Legier is the perfect guy for it.
I actually heard a name being thrown out there. I think Anthony Noto's coming back, and he's gonna run Twitter because SoFi is a sinking ship.
He was their COO. He was a COO at Twitter.
I could tell him it's not listening.
Texting my girlfriend, bro. She's all up on my.
Oh,
Whoa, you have a
Kelly's
girlfriend?
already on the chat.
Yo,
What are you-
Kelly's texting you.
Hold on a second. You got a girlfriend now? What's going on here, homie?
No, I'm just.
Who
Kidding.
you
I'm not-
think? All right.
I don't have. If I had a girlfriend, you guys would know.
Hey,
I don't-
guys, he's calling Grinder his girlfriend.
I was swiping my girlfriend.
But you guys agree with me, right? Like Mr.
Uh,
Beast, because I was arguing with Tristan about this, because Tristan was like, "Well, he's a content creator." I'm like, I don't give a fuck if he's a content. Like, you have to make a decision about real business things. Like, and I get he operates businesses, but content business in the context of allowing, like, does he allow Jordan Peterson on the platform? Like, these are really tough decisions you got to make, and the buck stops with him. Like, the reason that guy called me was he thinks I can get in contact with a guy that can get in contact with Elon, because that's how serious he's trying to get this resolved quickly. And so, like Elon makes these decisions, and Elon's been
Wait,
pretty good.
hold on a second. Hold on, Amit. I am not gonna try to mess with your ego, but I'm gonna be straight. You have like 6,000 followers on Twitter. Like, why?
No,
He's 1 degree from Elon, guys.
This is actually, it's so funny. It's the degrees of separation. I am actually 1 degree of separation from Elon. I swear on my life.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that's why that's why he called me today. I was like,
He's
By
like,
the way,
was the guy
I
that
met
was following the
Elon
car
directly.
with his kid in it.
No, I met Elon directly when I was interviewing for a job at SpaceX. So you are technically correct, 1 degree from me to Elon. You're correct.
Yeah, but Elon doesn't remember you. That's the
He
difference.
totally forgot.
that's why when I got the call today, I was like, what the heck is it? But it made sense why he reached out. So
Yeah.
But
Once
that's
you
what
tell
Elon
me,
has to make these
once you tell
decisions,
us
so.
who it is, once you tell us who it is, we may
hey,
be
hey,
shocked.
Joe, you can't exclude stock-based compensation, by the way, when you say someone's profitable. That's part of it. That's part of being profitable. So
Yeah, if
I
you
just
have to
wanna-
yeah, but
compensate-
stock-based
yeah.
compensation will go
It's-
away, and then they'll
it's
get
so
profitable.
ridiculous to think that. Hey, Google's compensation hasn't gone away. So I don't know how you think SoFi's stock-based compensation is going away.
Well, first of all, if Anthony
That's
Noto
ridiculous.
doesn't 5x the stock, he doesn't get his options.
See,
So-
believe it or not, that's actually that is one of the only bull cases that I believe in SoFi. I'll be honest with you guys. I am never one to doubt human greed.
It is
Okay.
cash.
If you
Right.
if
It's
you
the
want
personal incentive
Yeah.
to be rich.
yeah. Dude, look at Elon. Look at Elon. Motherfucker was
Yeah.
sleeping
Yeah,
on the
but-
roof.
Oh
of
yeah,
the
he knew what that
factory.
was worth. He knew
Yo,
every
you're
night
forgetting.
he was $5 million.
You're forgetting Anthony Noto needs a good double or triple, and then he can be out. He doesn't need a 10x.
No,
cares? I'm trying
you
to
think
get
he
that
wants a $5
5x
stock to be a
off.
$10 stock?
I'm
No.
just saying, if he's buying shares at $6-7, which he was buying,
No,
and
no,
it goes
no.
to
But
14,
Vitalik,
he can take
Vitalik.
out some money.
Vitalik, he's got, I think, how much? Half a billy coming his way if he gets it to 25
Yeah.
or something
No,
like that.
300 million. 300 million.
300
yeah.
million.
Also, he was buying at $9 in
How-
June. So
How
like,
long
he's
does it
not
have to
buying at
stay?
$4.
How long does it have to stay at 25 for this to
60,
be?
60 days, so 3 months.
Are there any
2 months,
other
2 months.
metrics beyond that? Like any
There's
other
a
metrics?
couple, but the stock has to be $25 by 2026, so he has 3 years for at least 60 days for him to get, and for the other executives. So I'm like, it's $5. They're going at
Bro, he will
65% year over year.
He will sell his mother into modern slavery to get him there. I don't know,
Oh,
bro.
look,
That
look,
is a very
this
good
is why I have
incentive.
SoFi shares. Okay, I do think it's a decent business. I think it can grow.
But
but-
Vitaly, if I was giving you a
but it's still a
5x by
spec play.
2026, you wouldn't load the boat. A 5x by 2026, you wouldn't load the boat.
Or a bankruptcy? What are you giving me for sure?
But the bankruptcy argument is, I mean, you got an argument. I just don't think it's. They have people using the. They're getting.
No, but
they're-
this is why
They're
I
going to
have a
add
position.
400,000
Right,
members
okay,
tomorrow.
but you
They're
okay,
going to have
Todd-
400,000 members tomorrow. Like,
Dude, this is why you have a position. Like, you don't need 20% of your stock in SoFi of your whole
what other stock
portfolio.
is 5xing in 3 years? 5xing in 3 years.
But
Well,
the
there's
risk
no
We keep
guarantee
talking
that
about
it's gonna
Tesla.
happen
I don't know what
higher.
you guys are trying to
But
say.
you're the one who just said Tesla's not going to go past 2 trillion. So it's not.
So
even
that's a
5x.
4x.
Okay, so Tesla's one stock. Then name me
it's
one
a
more.
it's a
Enphase.
4x. It's a 4x. with
Enphase
very-
already is. What are you doing?
But it's about the risk of downside. If you're going to put $100,000, right? Would you risk $100,000 for a 4x in Tesla or $100,000 in SoFi for a 5x that could also go to zero? What would your girlfriend text your girlfriend right now? Where you should put the money? And
Ask Grinder. What do they
bitch
say?
slap you if you put it in.
Bro,
SoFi.
I'm gonna download Grinder just to see if I can make some friends, bro. I'm not gonna
Oh,
Oh boy.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
guys, everybody heard this on this podcast. Amit has finally coming out.
Amit, just sign up for Amit's OnlyFans anytime soon.
Okay, hold on. Can we schedule this right now? Can we
Find
schedule
him
this
on
right now?
Grinder.
Vitaly and Chris, when are we getting dinner in New York? Can we schedule this right now on the pod? Let's do this
Well,
right
no, we can't do it because then
Because then
Kelly's gonna
everyone's
fly
gonna show
down and
up.
follow me to New York. We got to be very careful about here, you know.
now. Chris, can we do it on February
it offline.
24th? February 24th.
I can't. I'll be in Mexico. I can't. Yeah, I have a
What
wedding
about
to go
next
to.
weekend, February 3rd, Friday?
Let me see. No,
free,
so
I'm
I'm
free.
flying. I could do March. Anytime in March, I'm free.
Okay, March. We'll plan it later then because March
Yeah.
is a while.
All right, can we
Okay.
do this offline?
All right. Do we got anything else to talk about? We talked about Tesla and
There-
Phase, shit on Palantir, SoFi.
The only thing that I didn't get to finish was that in a bear market, you're supposed to DCA quality companies. I don't think that's clear that I'm DCAing quality companies. I have been buying a lot of Google and Amazon all this time, and I'll continue to buy them. As long as we're in a bear market, I don't care what it's down. I think those companies are going to be way higher up, and I'm not going to read anything. I can do March. I wasn't going to read it, but you made me. So I think it's a perfect time.
So what are you
to-
buying the dip on? You're buying Tesla, Enphase, Meta, and Google, Amazon. Those are the 5 you're buying right now.
I can actually go. We have a Discord. I can share what I've been buying. Let me take a look what I bought.
Carlos,
at.
put the link in the description for the Discord.
I'm shorting Nvidia.
Wait, what? You're shorting
Yeah.
Nvidia?
I actually bought some put spreads on Nvidia because I think Nvidia,
Let me see.
Intel was the straw on the camel's back that broke it for me because Intel really got its butt handed to it. Now I'm not saying that Intel and Nvidia have that much in common, but it just goes to show that the entire semiconductor industry right now is facing some contractual headwinds, and those are not going to be not affect Nvidia. I think the collapse in the GPU mining space, plus the release of the 4070, 4060, 4090s, they didn't go as well as a lot of people were hoping. A lot of scalpers are putting them back, So I think overall sales might be a little bit more consolidated around Q1, Q2, Q3. And the numbers when they report, I think Nvidia reports in February sometime. I have to see when it is. But I think that they're going to take a bit of a hit. And when they do, I'll probably close out those puts for a nice little gain. But
So
yeah,
you think at 86 PE it's overvalued?
Is that the forward PE?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's like a what? $600 billion market cap? No, it's like 400 something. Hold on, let me check. What is this? By the way, guys, Carlos bought Nvidia in 2000 and he sold it.
I know. I
Forward
was
PE, by the way, is 45. 45.
No, it's not. Someone told me it was 86. No, it's
No,
not.
I'm looking at it
62.
right now. I'm looking
It's
at it right
62. It's 62.45. Where are you getting 45 from?
now. Yahoo.finance. That's where I'm looking. Where are you looking?
What's the stock price? 202. At 202, it says 45.
Yep. It says forward PE 44.64.
now here's a
Oh,
question.
hold
to
on,
you
hold on.
guys.
The PE trailing 12 months is 86, but the forward PE is still 62, or else Webull is.
And Nvidia gave positive guidance for guidance guidance for Q3, Q4. So they're already expecting that things should turn around towards the end of the year. So I
Right.
hope you're right, by the way, in terms of the short term, because I actually want a much bigger position in Nvidia. I was stupid
What's
to
your-
sell it a couple of years ago before it like 5x, then went on a massive
gaming,
run.
Bitcoin mining.
I'm getting it back in. They are part of the future of this autonomous driving, just along with Tesla, because not everybody's going to use Tesla's products.
AMD,
Nvidia, you're saying AMD as well, yes.
AMD,
But-
Ryzen. Those are the chips.
no, absolutely. But I think Nvidia is poised much better for this AI machine learning thing that's happening. Everyone runs on their GPUs. Everybody runs on. I mean, Meta just spent how much money to build out their infrastructure on Nvidia GPUs. So Nvidia is nothing
Were
to
you
mess
buying at
around with.
100?
I was
At
buying
100?
at 100, yes. But I sold it 2 years ago for way less. So now I'm buying it back way
No,
higher.
the recent 100 though that it came. The
Yes,
recent
I bought it 105 the last time. Exactly.
Okay.
And I should have picked up a shit ton more. I was just thinking, oh, it might go to 70. This is what you're always thinking. Oh, it might go lower. But even at 100, it was stupid. Like, we know that. Meta at 85 was stupid. Tesla at 105 was stupid. Like, there's certain stupid prices that we should stop trying to dollar cost average and just go a little bit heavier at those prices. So I'm going to be a much more aggressive with Nvidia if it falls below 150.
Yeah, I agree with the long-term growth prospects of Nvidia for sure. I just think in the short term, I think there's been a little bit too much bullishness, and one of the
Sure.
companies that's ridden that high has been Nvidia. I think semiconductors themselves are in sort of a cyclical downward trend in the short term, but out of all of the semiconductors, Nvidia is probably poised to grow the most because of their AI chips. Like their AI chips are pretty much now with Microsoft, right? Microsoft's going to be building out data centers. They're going to have NVIDIA chips. Meta's been doing the same thing. The only thing is you can't run the whole business on just AI chips. There's a large segment of their revenue that was coming in from gaming and from GPU mining that's no longer coming in as much. Not to say that gaming is down by any means. It just means that there's just a huge saturation of people that upgraded their PCs over the last couple of years, and that may short term impact that business. In which case, right now, that's majority of their revenue. So that's the only thing in the short term to worry about.
Yeah, short term, absolutely, it can go down. There's one last question if you want to bring it up about Enphase. Blake asks a question about Enphase.
Oh, Blake, no. Will Enphase go into 200? I may consider buying. If so, have to do more research.
I think yes. And
the charts, right? The charts said that
I had a chart, and I think we shared it on our channel. If you guys want to check out our channel, we just did a video Friday, Freelancer Finance channel.
Yeah.
And we talked about Enphase in the chart. And yes, I'm buying it all the way down under 200. And wherever it goes, I buy. So under 200 is when I'm actually personally DCing back into Enphase. I already had an Enphase position. So 200, 180, 160. I see it sort of around the 160, 180 price as being a great, absolute long-term buy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. The 140 to 300 something ride was
amazing,
so profitable, and I think we'll do the same thing from 200 to 400.
It only got me one Tesla and one pool,
and we need
as Chris was shitting on it all along.
Well, hold on. I was shitting on it when it was 3 something, and it ends up being so low right now, right?
I actually really
some goddamn puts.
I admire Chris's determination to make money while also limiting his downside. It's like he can't help it. He's got to go for it because he sees the potential, but he also wants to minimize risk. I admire how many trades you do a year. If you're still profitable at the end of the year with the amount of trading that it seems like you do.
He does. He's up 3 pennies.
Actually, Chris has done very nicely on Meta. He's up quite a handsome.
And I've done
okay.
How
much are you up on Meta?
Right.
How much are you up on Meta?
Right once or twice.
Let's hear it. How much are you up on Meta? You willing to
What
share?
No, you don't
Wait,
have
no,
to
Chris,
share.
send it to me and I'll show it on the good camera. Send me the screenshot. I'll show it on the good camera.
Sure.
Send it to me,
We want to know how much he's actually up because he has a hedge on everything. So you got to count the hedges. He bought some puts.
You guys see the bricks exposed to the regular wall? I got these bricks custom planted on this part of the wall. So.
You still have the worst set in YouTube, by the way.
No.
I want to know what's behind that door. I want to know who you've got.
And for $50,000, the price is
tied in the right. Who you got tied in that? What's part of that showcase showdown?
Yeah. Before we end, let's see how much money Chris made on Meta.
Chris is about to show you guys. Chris is about to shut you guys the fuck up.
Yeah, shut us up. Hey, listen, I bought calls on Meta. I'm really happy with my call position. I wish I bought more, of course.
Vitaly, you don't have to brag every time someone else makes money.
I don't like it. I don't like when Chris makes money.
I don't need to worry about you. Chris made this about Chris, not you.
Can't have that. He's like,
hold on.
At night, I dream about him going bankrupt.
Just so you can say, well, if you had bought some puts,
I should have bought some puts.
Go ahead.
All right, let me make sure you guys.
Let's see if I'm impressed.
Wait, Chris, it's the last.
It's all three.
Yeah.
It's all
three.
three.
The first one doesn't show a game. The first one just shows.
There's no game.
No.
I think you didn't scroll down enough on the first one. Scroll down more on the first one. All right, here's the second one. So he's up 26 G's.
Nice.
73% in
Very
how long,
good.
Chris? Like a month? 73 in a month?
Couple
month. Okay. Couple. And then he's up 15 grand, 84% in how many in a month, Chris? Or
in a month.
Are these all calls?
Okay.
Are these all calls or these spreads?
No, these are all calls.
Oh,
Really?
Nice. You bought just.
give me the first
calls.
photo. You got to show me the first photo.
So you didn't hedge your calls.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Not
looking
not
for.
a few. Not on these.
Okay. That's very good. Are you going to sell any now?
15.
I might end up taking some.
Whoa, and this is the last one, and it had to be up 69%.
Of course.
Boom.
25 grand. How many months is this, Chris? A couple months?
Yeah. Well, it says right there, date purchase.
Day purchase. So 25 plus 15 is 50 plus 26 is $75,000.
So when I said I was bullish on Meta, I was actually bullish, and it tells you the date that I was buying at.
No,
so.
the Meta call in terms of buying as much as you did was a perfect call.
Yeah, and that's not actually, and those are just my options position. That's not the stock position I have in Meta, which I bought. Like I told you last time, a shit ton. I just don't want to log into Fidelity right now.
So
But
you
yeah,
also bought that at
absolutely.
$100?
Yeah,
Actual
around,
stock
like,
too?
yeah. In my Fidelity, which is in my retirement, I bought a ton of just stock. So yeah, I'm doing well.
So when are you moving out of that 1-bedroom apartment?
I don't live in a 1-bedroom. If you saw my 1-bedroom apartment in the city, you'd be shocked. Yeah, I've got a 400 square foot terrace.
If you sell this though, you're gonna have to pay 20% on the 75 to Uncle Sam, right?
Dude, whatever.
I think it's 40% or 30%.
I may. Well, the way that I would
Short-term
probably
gain.
Depends if you sell it within the year. Yeah, you're
now the way that I would probably do it is that I would sell calls on against it, right? So this way, what happens is I would end up benefiting from the downside of anything the other way. So there's a way that you can actually sell without. It's an options thing. You can cover them using the opposite end of the bet and not have to pay the amount that's listed there, because that's the other thing. I think a lot of people think that you just sell the option and collect the intrinsic value and that's it. Well, you could do the opposite and end up selling against that call. So if I have, like, let's say a call on 150 and right now that's appreciated so much, what I could do is sell the top side of that. So like, let's say a 155 call, right, on the same thing. Now I'm just going to be so what ends up happening is I end up creating a spread off of it. So
yeah, but then you lose all the upside if Meta does run as far as it's supposed to, as we all think it's going to happen next couple of years.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to definitely run.
Yeah, I expected over $200, so I expect my options to appreciate pretty nicely because I have $100 strikes.
Yeah, I have 150 strikes. That's when I bought them. So.
All right, guys. I'm actually heading out. I got to head out for the weekend.
Yeah, no, that's good. And happy birthday, Carlos! Again, it's his birthday.
Wait, it's Carlos' birthday? You guys didn't say that shit?
Yeah, birthday was Saturday. I'm heading to. Actually, this is going to be interesting. I am going to videotape this on our channel. I'm going to do a massive stress test of the Model X right now. I'm taking the Model X to Mammoth, 270, almost 300 miles, and it's going to be fully loaded weight-wise, 8,000 foot elevation, and freezing temperatures. So supercharging network, just all of it. I'm really going to put it through its paces, and I'm going to be recording along the way, and we'll have a video and see how it does.
Nice.
How old
Enjoy.
are you? 48 now?
Huh?
49? How old
21. Look at these boyish good looks.
You look 21, so it doesn't matter.
No, I hit 46.
That's amazing.
46.
That's amazing. Happy
46.
birthday. That's great. You've got a beautiful wife, a kid. You got your life. Like this is dope, man. This is like,
oh yeah, I'm happy. I'm pretty happy. I do want to see Bitcoin back at 70,000.
Have you been buying this little dip well, not dip anymore?
No. I was just building out some of the position in the altcoins as they dropped, but I've been hoarding cash, and I am still waiting because when we talked about this earlier, I don't think that this rally is gonna. It's like permanent. I think we are going to see some kind of a pullback because until we see that Fed pivot, I'm just holding back. But yes, when it hits $70,000, this background's going to change.
All right. Happy belated, man. This was awesome, Finance Junkies. Thank you, under 53 people, for being here. Check out the links in the description. Actually, please don't leave before subscribing to everyone in the description. We only do this because you guys are here. It means a lot.
We see the statistics, and like 70% of the people that watch our stuff are not subscribed. Like, what's the deal?
You got to say that in the beginning of the episode, by the way, not at the
end.
We
got to they got to give the value first. We gave them the value.
Yeah.
Now they enjoyed this hour, hopefully. Yeah. You got to hear everyone roasting me, and then Chris, and then Vitaly making jokes, and also hopefully it was fun. Now subscribe, please.
No more kids for me. Just FYI.
All right, guys.
All right, peace.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
All right, bye.